been a hot minute since I've talked to you guys. Many of you know that I may have been that I was sick last week, and I got to be honest with you, I was very sick. I felt terrible. Basically spent the better part of 3 to 4 days just laying in bed and feeling absolutely awful. But I feel much better this week. I'm still not there yet, as you could probably tell, but I feel, I feel a lot better than I felt last week, and hopefully as we make it through this weekend, I'll feel even better next week and feel like I'm 100%. I feel like I'm about 75% right now, but so much better than I was. So I want to jump on here to admit I made a mistake. I did a story on Scripps television, which has been doing all kinds of reimagining, realignment, readjustment. I don't know what they're calling it. It's re-something. And I did a story. It was only on the patron side, but I said that Scripps had eliminated all their general managers. That was the headline. The story, luckily had the internal email sent to the employees at Scripps, and so basically the people could read it, draw their own conclusions, draw their opinion, and but I did say they eliminated all the general managers, and that was a mistake. And I hate making mistakes. I mean, I hate making mistakes with a passion. It's probably on my list of things I hate. It's probably number 2 on the list. Number 1 is seeing any animal abused, and number 2 is I hate making mistakes. I just hate it. But I did. I made a mistake. We all make mistakes, and oftentimes I see like a TV station will make a mistake. I'll get a story sent to me, and it's a link to their website, and then I go into the website and I see that the story's just gone. The link has been deleted. That's it. The story's gone. And there's nothing to say what exactly happened or even acknowledging the mistake. And I don't think that's the right thing to do. We all make mistakes, and admitting you make a mistake, a lot of people feel like it's going to make them look weak or incompetent or whatever. But yet everybody makes mistakes, and I think the most important thing to do is when you do, own up to it. And that is, so to catch you up, as I said, this was on the patron side, so there's a good chance you didn't see the story. Scripps has, that was my phone. Sorry, it was a mistake. Scripps has named regional, I don't have the memo in front of me, they've named, I think it's 5 regional vice presidents / general managers. So basically they took 5 current general managers and have promoted them to Scripps regional vice president / general manager. I don't know if people still do business cards anymore, but hopefully that would all fit on the business card. But so what happens is the general managers that weren't promoted, they weren't part of the 5. And I think it's 5. Maybe it was 6. Maybe it was 4. I don't know. We'll go with 5. But the 5 general managers that were part. So if you're a Scripps station, a general manager, and you weren't one of the ones that was promoted to the regional vice president general manager, then you kind of got knocked down a rung on the ladder, because now you have another layer of management above you. So, you're the general manager, then you have the regional vice president, general manager, then you have the whatever. I don't know what the titles are. Over the last 10 years, it's hard to understand. A news director is now the director of content. So I don't know what the titles are. But the bottom line is the general manager now has another layer of management on top of them. So they've got knocked down a rung. So I guess rung. So they didn't eliminate the job, but they certainly demoted, or they're knocked down. They're not as high up on the ladder as they were. If you were the chief photographer at a station, and this is probably a bad analogy because Scripps has gotten rid of so many of their photographers, but if you're the chief photographer at a station, you're the chief photographer. You're in charge of the photographers. But if they brought somebody in as the regional chief photographer, now you've gone down a rung on the ladder. It's kind of like, the assistant news director, and then you have the news director. And then at some stations, they have a corporate news director, the VP of news or whatever. And so oftentimes somebody has a title as news director, and it happens in a number of markets. I know in Washington it happens, in Miami it happens, where there's a person that's the news director, but there's a VP of news above them. And technically, for all intents and purposes, that's the news director. The news director is the assistant news director, which means if there's an assistant news director, they're kind of the assistant to the assistant news director. People love titles, and they love, they want power in TV news. And sometimes the power isn't there. And Scripps took away some of the power from their general managers by putting another level of management on top of them. And so the headline of my story said Scripps eliminates the GMs or sacks their GMs. And, it's a little, they certainly knocked the GMs down a rung on the corporate ladder, but they didn't eliminate the jobs. And I just wanted to clear that up, that I made that mistake. I could give you 9 million reasons as to why I made the mistake. And, there's people inside Scripps that read it the same way that I did. But, the bottom line is I made the mistake, own the mistake, and that's it. And that is the gist of this video. You're going to make mistakes. Michael Jordan did not make every shot that he took. Occasionally he missed. And actually he missed quite a bit. But he's still the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. So everybody makes mistakes. I made a mistake, and I just wanted to come on and admit that I made a mistake. So that way the haters can go, oh, see, he's wrong. And then at the same time, I at least admit to the people that I do respect that I made a mistake, and that was it. So speaking of, see the top of that right there? My rock star. See the big bend in there? I'm on a subscribe and save with Amazon. So every two weeks, they drop a case of rock stars off at my house. And this last case, almost every can in the case has a big dent on the top. Some of them I can't even open. You can't even get into the thing. And I've been on this subscribe and save for a couple of years, and I think this is only the second time it's ever happened. So obviously the delivery person or somebody at the warehouse or whatever made a mistake, and they dropped the case. It dented the cans. I could call Amazon and say, hey, the cans are all dented. Some of them I can't even get into. And Amazon would send me a new case of rock stars, tell me to keep this prior case, so I'd still have rock stars on top of rock stars. But you know what? It's a mistake. It rarely happens. It did. And so I decided not to call them. And I don't want to get somebody in trouble for, making a mistake. If they came like this every 2 weeks, certainly I would have a problem. But in 2 years, I think this is the second time. And so no big deal. I'm not gonna call up Amazon to bitch and moan, even though they would send me, as I said, a free case of rock stars. But I just don't. I'm not that person, and I understand that people make mistakes. That's exactly what this is. I don't think somebody purposely went and dented all the cans before they delivered them to me. So it's a mistake. You move on. I made a mistake. I hope not to make another mistake, but I know I will, and I'm going to move on. And I think the gist of this video is when you make a mistake, admit you made a mistake, learn from your mistake, and move on. And that's exactly what I did. I made a mistake. That's it. So hopefully, as I said, it'll be the last mistake I ever made, but I know that's not the case. We all make them, and just admit it and move on. It feels good to be back talking to you guys. As I said, still not 100%. Hopefully I'll be there soon, but I'll see you when I see you on the next one, okay? Bye.